Welcome to the latest episode of Elmhurst Discussed. Today, we're going to talk all about the Great Green Upskill. So, let's take it away. Josh, you've got the envelopes in front of you.
Thank you.
What is the question?
What is the Great Green Upskill?
Okay. What is the Great Green Upskill?
The Great Green Upskill is it's a campaign that we're running aimed at our members. We want to make sure they're future-proof for the next steps towards net zero, make sure they're competent in other areas such as heat loss assessor, retrofit assessor, and allows them to be able to offer more services, makes them more attractive from a business point of view, but whilst also adding knowledge as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that you've been looking at, I find really interesting, is this concept of career pathways.
Yep.
And actually drawing a roadmap of how all this sort of the future hangs together from a knowledge base. And I guess this is sort of the first step in getting people moving in that direction. Because I think for a long time, we've pigeonholed people. Oh, you're a DEA, or you're a SAP assessor, or you do retrofit, do you? Well, actually, all these skills are going to be really, really important in the future, plus all the other stuff that we're looking at, which you've sort of already highlighted. Sam, you head up the operational team.
Yep.
A lot of these skills are coming into your team, aren't they? What are your thoughts?
I think one thing that I'm really keen on is diversification. So one thing that we do at Elmhurst is put a lot of focus and emphasis on competency schemes. That isn't just because we're trying to support new and emerging markets in the energy industry, but we're also trying to provide our members with further opportunities outside of maybe the core sort of staples of non-domestic, domestic, on construction. So I think, competency schemes and diversifications is key for me. One question I had on the Great Green Upskill, though, is discounts. Is there incentives for members?
Yeah, so specifically for members, and you have to log into the website to purchase, you get 40% off on-demand courses. So the likes of retrofit assessor, heat loss assessor, our older and traditional buildings qualification, vital for retrofit at the minute. And then we do 20% off some of our live competency training, and also CPD is incorporated in that as well. So
some big numbers there, aren't there? Some generous discounts.
Really big discounts.
Yeah, I think that's a sign of intent, really, isn't it? We really want to support the future of the industry, and we recognise this is an ongoing thing, but sometimes we just need to give it a kick, give it a push, and I think that's kind of what's happening at the moment, isn't it? But it isn't sort of the end of it. Or the courses that we've got at the moment, or the courses we have at the moment, we're always adding them, aren't we? And we've got some more to come.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't want to give the game away too early.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe there's a question on that. Who knows? Shall we move on to question number 2 then? I think I'm gonna take this one because it makes sense. Let's have a look. And the Oscar goes to. Now, here we go. Why should I consider further qualifications, competency, and CPD? I think we've started talking about this already, haven't we? Yeah. But I mean, I guess for me, why should anybody consider further qualifications? And we get asked this a lot, don't we? Oh, should I do this qualification? Should I do that qualification? What's the next big thing in the industry? And it kind of, we're at the cusp of everything changing, aren't we? We know that the future home standard is coming at some point before the end of the year. We know that the home energy model then sort of comes in. We know that MEES is coming next year and beyond. And then there's decent homes. There's the concept around health in homes as well. When you start to peel away what really matters, we're going in this direction towards net zero, or decarbonised heat, or decarbonised transportation, whatever you want to sort of frame it as. And we've got to do that in the right way, with the right competencies, with the right people doing the right things at the right time. And therefore we need to upskill an industry. Even like, how do I know what heating system to put in, what size heating system? We need a heat loss calculation to help you do that, as one great example. But even the CPD side of things, it's so fundamental to what our industry is built upon. You look at any great industry that has people out there doing things, there's that continuous learning competency that sort of sits underneath everything. And I don't think as an industry we've done it particularly well. I think it's quite difficult to get up to speed in. But once you're there, actually, it really does underpin everything that goes on in an industry. If you look at nursing, you look at teaching, you look at surveying, CPD is so vital to that process. I think what we need to do better is need to be honest with ourselves and say where we're strong and where we're weak individually and as an industry, and we need to start looking at courses that meet those skills gaps. And whether that is I need to understand commercial buildings in a bit more detail, or lighting, or HVAC. HVAC is so important. Lots of people don't understand it.
I think it's making it so that it's not a tick box exercise. Make sure you make it valuable to yourself, so that you're adding a string to your bow, if you can, in that area. So, like a good one that we've released, or RDSAT 10 is a really good example. Is I can't imagine being an energy assessor and not being aware of the RDSAT 10 process coming in and how that would impact my customers. So being always up to date on that sort of thing. And there's lots of free stuff that we do from a reading point of view, but also there's loads of like live learning with some of our experts that have gone into detail and they're working on building the methodology and software and everything around that. So we've got the expertise there from that point of view, but also all brand new stuff like past 2038, for example, like knowing what's down the line for you and what potentially you could get into. You can use a CPD to identify that sort of thing as well. So yeah.
And it's a good time of year as well. This Great Green Upskills come along.
Absolutely.
CPD audits aren't that far around the corner once we head into January. And just as a reminder to all of our members around the requirement for certified CPD now as well. Half your CPD has to be certified, so you've got to do more than just reading a technical bulletin. We've got so many options on the table for our members to satisfy their certified CPD hours, but it's good to get ahead of it. And one piece of advice, what we would say heading into next year, is don't leave it till last minute and spread your CPD across the course of the year, because it isn't just about ticking the box that you got the right hours at the end of it. It's about making sure you've learned something valuable on the way.
We seem to have a bit of a cycle there, don't we, where people either do their CPD and they're proactive, and then there's those that are reactive. And I think one of the reasons why we have to have that minimum number in and why we have to have a certain percentage of it is because this has been an ongoing thing. We needed to make sure the CPD is appropriate and it's being done correctly. And it is so valuable. Anybody who would like to have a debate with me about the values of CPD, I'm quite happy to do it. It's so important to our industry because we are moving forward so quickly. There's so many changes coming. And even the CPD, the understanding of courses that you're putting together, Josh, really do help you understand the direction of travel and where things are going. And then you can make a bit more of an informed choice over whether I want to learn that qualification or get in there in a bit more detail, whether I want to add that as an opportunity for my business. And that's frankly what we're here to do. Is we're here to help our members understand the future and help them build businesses that are successful. Because we're only successful if our members are successful. And I do see CPD as that starting point. And also the ongoing growth of the industry is around how good we are as an industry.
Yeah, it's the long-term success of the industry relies on our members ultimately, doesn't it?
Okay. Well, we've both done an envelope.
So we do question 3.
I turn to wrestle with the envelope.
You did a better job already. I managed.
What opportunities are emerging in the retrofit market that require new skills? Okay, I'll focus on testing, on-site testing around ventilation and air tightness. So I'll kick things off with normal level 1, level 2 air tightness or air permeability. So one of the things that we saw with the introduction of RDSAT 10, which is now used for all new retrofit assessments, is the ability to model a known air test. So previously 9.94, and for the last 15 or so years, RDSAT has defaulted the air test value. We now have the ability to measure that. So both pre and post, you'll be getting a more accurate, more reflective energy assessment, retrofit assessment if you do testing for air permeability. So that's one big area of opportunity. We're seeing huge growth in that sector. Another one is around background ventilation testing. So this is about measuring the natural airflow within a property, and that can have impacts on damp and mold. It's really important that when we look at those type of things, as a retrofit coordinator, we're factoring that into our air tightness strategies and things like that. So yeah, background ventilation testing is another qualification which is worthwhile doing. And I think the final one that I'd suggest around that kind of theme is ventilation testing. So we have a competency scheme for ventilation testing, and essentially under the new PAS, new or existing ventilation equipment we should be defining a flow rate. Now, you can do that if you know what the manufacturer's details are, which is fine for new units, but for existing units, it's often really hard to find. So instead, you need to test the flow rate, and that's what our ventilation training and competency scheme teaches you how to do.
It's mad that we don't measure buildings enough, and like if you can't measure it or you haven't measured it, you can't manage it, can you? And we've just come off the back of a BTS, Build Test Solutions conference, which was all about measurement of buildings, and there's huge work that's needed in evaluating the post retrofit. We've seen a load of issues recently around some poor retrofits, and one of the areas that could be is measuring the building better, and so I think it's key.
I do see that sort of duality of the ability to have models and measurement working together hand in hand, because you've still got space for models. Models are really important, and they're relatively cost effective and can be rolled out at scale. Measurement can be done to understand truly what's going on at a property, whether that is an existing building and you're going through a retrofit program, which is what you're describing, or indeed a new build situation. This all started with air testing on new build properties, and look how the industry sort of moved on. Now every new build has to be tested. It's the same with ventilation commissioning, which you're talking about. Actually, that skill set can be used in a new build environment. Maybe not by an energy assessor, but certainly there are others that will want to utilise that skill. And who knows, energy assessors might end up doing those things if that's deemed suitable. But you know, I'm really excited by a few other things that you've got measured energy performance as a scheme and as a training course, but being able to do. I know the smart HTC, which is one technology that we support. And again, that whole concept is starting to be explored potentially through the Future Home Standard. So flagging that to our members and saying, if this comes through in the Future Home Standard, there will be a voluntary scheme over here. Once it starts as a voluntary scheme, it then can become used and explored, and then that helps update the models. It means that it might become a mandated scheme. So being there at the coalface means that you've got sort of first mover advantage. And again, I think that's what we're trying to do, isn't it? Give our members as many opportunities to be first movers in a lot of these emerging markets. Yeah, really exciting times.
Ultimately, it's about our members having the skills and the competencies to be able to offer other services that makes them something that another thing that we look at is better building consultant, and making them that towards that sort of ability to offer multiple services in one go, and that allows you to reduce the cost of the site visit that you're doing, for example. So and back on retrofit as well, it's not just domestic. We talk about domestic a lot, but we've got PAS 2038 that is coming down the line. We've got an intro to PAS 2038 and lots of stuff coming down the line from your team from that.
And that's great to see, because the non-domestic sector has been a little bit flat recently. So in terms of opportunities for our members, getting into things before they become established and being early adopters is really important. So yeah, PAS 2038 is something we're all really excited about.
And let's face it, you're right. The markets in general have been relatively subdued. Everybody's kind of waiting for things to happen. And in the world of non-domestic, that's typically around MEES. In the domestic, it's house building, it's MEES, it's anything that's coming from Warm Homes. The Warm Homes grant scheme, all of that is, massively impactful next year and the year after. And again, it's like, well, what can you do to be ready for that when it goes big? And again, the Great Green Upskill is there, providing some discounts for our members, so that they've got that first mover advantage, that head start.
Absolutely.
I'm grabbing number 4. There we go. Which way around is this one? There we go. How can upskilling help you or your business stay competitive? Well, I think we're already covering most of that in what we've said. Being competitive is about making sure that you do the job in the best possible way. So price competitive, but also being there first. don't know. Is there any, what else does anybody think about?
I think as a
competition?
business, though, you also need to be wary of not being siloed into one specific thing. Ultimately, if you're only doing EPCs and the markets can fluctuate with house prices and sort of stamp duty and all that sort of stuff, then actually being able to offer another service like a floor plan or a Legionella assessment or inventory or heat loss, which is one of the big things. We've seen a huge opportunity for DAs potentially to do a heat loss assessment that can be used for heat pump sizing and heat pump quotes, which reduces the number of quotes from installers that are needed. So, really, and again, that's 40% discount on the heat loss assessor course. So.
I think as well, if we look at it from a point of view of the consumer is going to, depending on the type of assessments or work they're wanting to carry out at their property, they're going to be engaging with multiple different competent skilled people. Wouldn't it be a great benefit to them if they could just have one person who is able to offer all those services on the same or similar days of the time they're attending site? It's less disruption. They know what they're getting and they're able to build a relationship with that assessor.
And that person has then such a massive amount of knowledge and expertise in that area that they can provide advice for the right tailored needs for the customer as well.
I think absolutely, it's about working smarter, not harder, having one person cross the threshold, not 5. I also think it's worth us pointing out that we do support our members through sort of business skills, and some of the CPD is a bit more soft skill like that, a bit more about how to successfully run a business. I know the marketing team has spent a lot of effort putting together packs as well, probably outside of the Great Green Upskill, but another good example. Those business skills help you stay competitive because they give you a little bit more insight into maybe how you can avoid making some of those mistakes, going down some of those pitfalls, not chasing those false dawns and those false promises that sometimes do occur in a busy moving market. But also, you give you that flexibility as somebody who is running a very successful business or a very mobile business, how you can make the most of that in a changing market as well. Absolutely. So again, we're here to support people, individuals and businesses.
Yeah. And like you said before, if our members are being successful, the whole industry becomes successful. We're all promoting the right things and things that will be reducing carbon, helping occupants have healthier homes and reducing bills and all that sort of stuff is all the same thing, really.
Yeah, good. We've got one more envelope.
One more.
I think that's for
for it.
You,
Thank
Josh. You started.
Thank you very much.
I'll let you end.
Great. What is the long-term goal of the Great Green Upskill? I mean, we kind of covered it. It's ultimately allowing our members to be.
I'll take that from you.
Allowing our members to be the best they can for homeowners, building owners, and allowing us as an industry to move net zero and energy efficiency forward and building measurement forward together. Because without our members and without that force of nature of our members, we wouldn't be able to do it, and the whole nation and the whole of potentially the world needs it really ultimately. So and they all become more competent, or will become more successful, become more knowledgeable, and open up more markets for themselves and between us. So yeah.
I guess the word long term is in there, isn't it? And this upskill is not going to be around forever. It's obviously it's got as an initiative, it's got a purpose, which is to raise the profile of upskilling and training at a time when it's necessary. There's been a lot of studies done on why we need to upskill and what the challenges are that we face as an industry. This is the start of something now, guys. We've been here for 15 years, and now we're going to kick on. So the long-term goal really is to see that through. We know we need tens of thousands of probably the green the retrofit coordinators. Sort of the green skill agenda is probably hundreds of thousands of people when you take the whole lot in. So we know this market's going to grow. We know our industry's going to grow, and we need to be more. We're doing more training and focused training in particular areas. So I think as long as it raises that agenda, I think your roadmap, your skills roadmap, or your is perfect, because that helps people understand where that's going. So that would be a long-term goal as well.
Yeah, and it kind of allows you to focus on certain areas that you might want to focus on in your business. So if you want to be helping landlords out or helping estate agents out with property assessments, then it's DEA, you've got Legionella, you've got inventory and doing floor plans and photography. That's one area you could work on, or you might want to work on retrofit, which we've discussed, and you could be a retrofit assessor in traditional buildings, and then you work towards coordinator, or you could go down other areas and branch out. If you're a DEA already, you can branch out to non-domestic and look at commercial buildings, or look at new build as well, and then airtightness becomes a thing as well, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's just allowing you to consider other options really, and see where you want to take for.
So how many thoughts on that?
I think, as we've already said before, the success of our members is the success of our business. So we're creating opportunities as we see them in areas that we think are going to be beneficial to the overall industry. It may be for some, it may not be for others, and we're not dictating which avenues our members go down. We're just trying to provide the opportunity for them for it to work the best for them and their business. So I think it's a really good initiative. I'm really, really happy to be playing a part in it, and fingers crossed it goes well for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I think the other thing I would say to our members is do your homework. Have a look at what you want to do in the next 2 years and see how this fits in. Take advantage of the opportunity to get a really decent discount. Maybe write a bit of a business plan of what the next 2 years looks like, and see how this slots in. And at the very least, if you're not sure, look at yourself and write a personal development plan for the next year. And next year, I want to have learned X, Y, and Z. And look at our portfolio of courses, CPD, short courses.
It's an investment, isn't it? Ultimately,
Absolutely,
it's got to be an investment in you as a person and your business. And if you're self-employed or a business, then make sure you do. And also to note, make sure you do speak to a member of the team if you're ringing in and you do have any queries on something technical. But make sure you chat about the Great Green Upskill as well. Everyone's here to help and give you some guidance on wherever you need to be.
Yeah, it might be worth your while.
Yes, absolutely.
Very good.
Brilliant.
I think that concludes our discussion. Well done, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you very much for that, and thank you for tuning in and listening.